Good evening, blessed and highly favored ones. Now, I know that statement could be very weighty and perplexing just because of your circumstances or your situation. But look at Mary. She received the same revelation when she learned that she was young, single, and pregnant. She ran the risk of losing her man. She faced homelessness and had to give birth to her gift out in the barn with no medical care because there was no room to be offered to her anywhere. Can you imagine having a gift and there was no table or nowhere for you to go to, no community? Her gift went on to be abused, mocked, and beaten. But 10 toes down, she continued to persevere. And her gift wound up blessing a multitude of people and also blessing her as well. That's my version. Who am I? Well, my name is Kimberly T. Mitchell. I am an author, a public speaking coach, a storytelling strategist, a TEDx public speaking coach. I was born and raised into a beautiful family, a mom, a dad, an older brother. We had everything but the picket fence. We went on family vacations. We went to church on Sundays. We had sit-down family dinners, and our house was actually the host home for huge family gatherings. But there's a space in that story. There's a big, huge gap, and I always tell my speakers to respect the pause. That pause may also be found where there's pain, there's guilt, and there's some shame there. One of my stories that I like to share with you is me going to school through public assistance. I thought that was shameful. I thought I had to hide that part of me. But I was blessed to actually have to go through a program that was actually grant funded to women who was receiving public assistance. I remember going into the Department of Social Services and talking to my caseworker. I was excited. I couldn't wait to go to school. But when I got there, he said, "That's going to cost too much. Why don't you go somewhere else?" I was devastated. I went home and then something in me just fired up. I got the phone and I called his supervisor. Now I was working at a pharmacy making only $7 an hour. So I told her that. She told me to quit my job and come in Monday morning and reapply. And I did. And when I got there, of course he was disappointed in me. He said that nobody's gonna like that I go over their heads. Well, you know what I learned from that statement, and I'm gonna share with you? They may not like that you're going over their heads, but if it's your calling and your purpose, they can either step to the side or duck because you're about to go for everything that God has for you. So moving on to when it was time for me to graduate. Beautiful day, another exciting full day. It was my mom, my dad, and my 2 kids in the back. It was sunny and beautiful. We was on our way up to the campus. I saw a whole lot of people just walking around, taking pictures and getting ready. So as we pulled into the parking lot, my mom looked in the mirror and breaking my gaze and my trance and said, "Kim, as we park the car, we're going to find ourselves a seat and you go inside and get ready, get online with your classmates." And I did. But when I got inside, my classmates was all huddled in the corner because they was in fear that they might find out. When they shared with me, I began to worry too. Will they find out? We wanted to know was our school degree saying, would our school degree say they graduated by way of public assistance? We thought that was supposed to be something that we should feel guilty of. And that was actually a proud moment because we worked just as hard as everybody else. The doctors, the lawyers, the computer techs, the people who did get their associates and bachelors, and whatever major that they studied in, because we had to take care of children and find childcare. But yet we worried about that. not listening to the music that was playing, an administrator walked over and said, "Ladies, line up." So after we finished explaining to her why we were so frozen in fear, she said, "Absolutely not. The only how people will find out is if we tell them." And who knew I would be a public speaker? That's part of my story. Now, I wanted to explain something to you. At that time, I did not know I was experiencing something called imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome is when you doubt your God-given gifts and talents. And if you ever felt like that, you're not alone, because Michelle Obama had challenges with it, and Dr. Maya Angelou, can you believe it? They both had challenges of it, that they was going to be found out as a fraud or people shouldn't listen to them. Now, imposter syndrome has 5 types. It has the perfectionist, it has the expert, it has the natural genius, the soloist, and the superwoman. Each one, like the perfectionist, wants to make sure everything is perfect before they even get started. The natural genius gives up when they have to learn something new. What they don't realize is that their gifts have levels. And the expert could actually teach a class now on their gift, because they have taken probably 10 or 20 courses and master classes, but still feel like they don't know enough. And the soloist feel like they all have to do it by themselves. And the superwoman feels like they have to do everything and be perfect in every area of their lives. And that's not true. And when they fail at something, they give up. Now, you don't have to raise your hand, but if that's you, you can just take little notes. I also heard a speech from one of my favorite public speakers, Lisa Nichols. She said that if you're a creator, you most likely will have experienced cognitive dissonance. And now I'm going to take it a step further and say that if you are a woman determined to persevere, you will no doubt experience cognitive dissonance. So you got one hand, you doubting yourself that you're not enough, and cognitive dissonance is pushing you to your purpose. Kind of sounds like a mess a little bit, right? Not to worry. Listen, let me explain to you about what cognitive dissonance is. Cognitive dissonance is when you continuously place yourself in a state of discomfort by thinking of yourself in a way that doesn't match your current behavior. You will then begin to do the things that match your mental conversation rather than your current circumstances. Okay, now, at first you start doubting yourself, but then you can't help yourself from doing the thing that is calling you closer. Wow, you get that? It's like, on one hand, the debris of doubt that was left behind in your past, or maybe in your current circumstances, as you continue to pursue what is calling you. Then there's the one thing, it's the one that tells you that you're not good enough because of your past, but you just can't sit in that mess. Women who prosper will be challenged with both. You overcome so much just to get here. You are dismantling generational curses and building a better life for you, your family, and those you haven't even met yet, because they are connected to your sound and your voice and your testimony. So for you, women of prosperity, I just stopped by to remind you that you are indeed a priceless and worth every good thing that's coming to you. You are an unrepeatable miracle, a divine design original with so much to offer. And I hope that you enjoy every part of this conference.